Hey there, Andrew with South Appalachian weather once again on Wednesday, January 28th, 2026, about 6 p.m. Another briefing, but thankfully we're not looking at something that's necessarily bad, just something to be aware of as we head into this upcoming weekend. And that is, I will use the word, a chance of snow. In this case, though, I'll go ahead and give a preview. We're actually looking at a chance of what I honestly would call a good snow. We're looking at relatively low impacts overall, but the kind of snow that I know most of us actually like enjoying a little bit when we do get this time of year and have to deal with this cold weather. One good snow, a couple good snows, and by good snow, I mean a couple inches at most, is really what we're looking at. So, to step into it now and take a look at the surface observations, the analysis, and what we're going to be getting into as we take a look at the loop. A low pressure system is forecast to develop over Oklahoma and Arkansas and move into our area, or more correctly, south of our area. Now, because it will be south of our area, this is what's going to make all the difference compared to what we dealt with last week, because that low pressure system moved up the I-75 corridor in Tennessee and to our north. This low is forecast to stay well south of us, and there's pretty good consistency model to model on this. We'll look at that here in just a minute. Again, there's going to be some variability in this forecast. We're still a few days out, but we're not looking at near the disagreements and discrepancies that we were looking at last week with the system that we had. I'm working on actually a post-mortem report. Keep an eye out for that. But again, back to this system, back to what we're looking at here. When I say low pressure system, when I say winter weather, don't think the areas that got hit so hard, both part of our region and south and east of our region. This really is a completely different scenario because of the track of that low. Now, notice number one, we're not looking at it near as tight of a pressure gradient, so those isobars are much more spaced out. May still see a few wind gusts, but nowhere near as much. But you can see in here, again, that forecast of some snow across our region. Now, taking a look at the weather models, and again, this is just the latest model outputs. There's going to be some differences as we get new information and see exactly what the temperatures do over the next few days. But already you can see actually pretty decent agreement at a widespread 1 to 2 inches across our region, across all of these different models and all of their different solutions and analysis. So with that in mind, what we're looking at again is a widespread 1 to 2 inches or so. Now there's going to be spots that may get a little less than that. Some spots may get a little more than that. There will be some higher amounts possible in the higher elevations above about 3,000 feet across our entire region, and in particular in the eastern stretches of our region. So we're talking eastern Towns County in Georgia, eastern Clay and Cherokee counties in North Carolina. And that's because as the air moves through our region, we may be looking at there in the higher elevations. I mean, those are some of the highest elevations of our entire region is along that ridge there. We may be looking, because of how the wind moves, at a little bit higher concentration of snowfall on that eastern end of our region. But what I am happy to report is icing or freezing rain is not expected out of this system. Again, the low pressure system, all the warmer air, the rainfall, going to be south of us and therefore out of our region, completely out of Gilmer, Union, Fannin, Towns counties in Georgia. I just got the geographic order out of order, but I think you understand my point. All of that possibility even is going to be well south of our area, and it looks like there may really not even be much freezing rain. But if you have to head to Atlanta, keep an eye on that separately, since I don't cover there. Anyhow, to now step through the impacts as we look at this. Before I do, though, let's take a quick look at the low temperatures Sunday morning, and Monday morning. Sunday morning, single digits, pretty much area wide. Gilmer County, maybe a little bit of the warm spot, if you want to call it that, more like 15 degrees instead of that widespread 3, 4, 5. Again, you can pick your exact number how you want to, but we do get to a point where it's just brutal cold, regardless of whether it says 7 or it says 1. on the ambient temperature, it's just going to be cold. And then Monday, a little bit of moderation, but only a little bit. We're still looking at largely single-digit lows across most of our region. So with that does come some very, very cold wind chills. It wouldn't surprise me if most of our area is looking at negative single-digit wind chills in the highest elevations, on the highest peaks out exposed, probably negative 10 to negative 15. Again, fine details are going to be coming in and little adjustments to that. But in general, it's going to be very, very cold Sunday morning and Monday morning. So bear that in mind. Just as you do have to be out and about, we'll step through the impacts here. In fact, let's go ahead and do that now. For power, for electricity, isolated outages are going to be possible with the amount of snowfall we're looking at. But again, we're not looking at a blizzard. We're not looking at widespread feet of snow, nothing like that. Think back to what we have dealt with over the last couple of years when we've had snowfall events like this. For example, about a year ago, we had 4 inches of snow, 4 to 6 inches. We're not even looking at that much. And overall, the power system fared pretty well across our region. We're looking at similar to that again. An isolated outage or two, but really not looking at widespread devastation. As far as ag and pets, definitely freshen up the bedding. Make sure they've got somewhere to get warm and out of the wind. Thankfully, though, because we're looking at snow and then a space and then the temperatures plunging about 12 to 15 hours later, we're not looking at near as much the risk as what we had last week, where it was very wet and then a very quick cold snap. It's going to be definitely something bearing in mind, but we're not looking again at that massive threat that we had last week. As far as recreation, this is where we get to the fun stuff. This is going to be one of those good ones. Again, remember what I said about good snow as far as a potential for sledding. I don't know if anybody has skis necessarily, but a couple inches of snow is going to be that kind of go play in it, go have the snowball fight, that kind of stuff. The stuff that we, again, live for if we're going to get this cold at least a couple times a year to be able to enjoy. And it'll be on the weekend. So we're not looking at impacts as far as the work week. So it's something that everyone around here hopefully can enjoy and really take advantage of this snow that we will be seeing. Now, travel is where things may be a little complicated. It's going to be very road treatment dependent on the different DOTs for Tennessee, North Carolina, and Georgia, and how the counties in Georgia handle things. So keep a close eye on the latest information from both the counties and the DOTs. 511, a good resource online and by calling. So get the latest information before you head out. And also bear that in mind that there will be snow to our east in particular, back across the rest of North Carolina, and to our north up in Tennessee. So we're going to be dealing with that as far as out of region travel. Keep that in mind as well. So again, though, just in summary, this is really what I would term a good snow. The kind that we largely get to enjoy without a lot of severe impacts. It may be bothersome in some respects as far as travel, especially head to church Sunday morning, depending on exactly what's been able to be done for the road. So keep that in mind as well. But overall, really not looking at anything that I would consider severe. If you see, again, unfortunately, after what we just had last week, there's been a lot of chatter on social media. I've already seen this week over the last few days. Oh, here we go again. We're just not looking at that. Some folks out east may feel that way a bit, but even there, we're not looking at this widespread ice storm event. This is just going to be a couple of inches of snow across our region and on over into parts of North and South Carolina and a little bit in Tennessee as well. So enjoy it. Seriously, enjoy these snows. These are the good ones. These are the ones that we can enjoy, especially when they're on a weekend and not having to deal with the work week. Bundle up, stay warm. Bear in mind those wind chills on Sunday and Monday morning in particular. Keep up to date with the latest forecast from the Weather Service, latest severe or emergency information from County Emergency Management and the road crews as well. Again, stay safe out there, stay warm, and enjoy it.